What family tradition should forever be forgotten? I grew up on an isolated farm in Nebraska with 5 siblings, and my dad was obsessed with building character. He was a harsh old-school man who believed modern kids were way too soft. So he invented a horrific punishment disguised as a family tradition that we called the scarecrow duty. Every year during the week of Thanksgiving, whichever kid had misbehaved the most that year had to spend an entire night tied to a wooden cross in the middle of our empty, harvested cornfield. Dad told us it was to scare away the crows, but it was really just to terrify us into obedience. You'd stand out there in the freezing November wind, completely alone in the pitch black, terrified of every rustling sound, until Dad finally came to cut you loose at dawn. It worked for years. But everything changed the year my older brother Tyler turned 14. Tyler was going through a rebellious phase, constantly talking back and skipping his farm chores. So naturally, Dad picked him for scarecrow duty. On Thanksgiving Eve, Dad marched him out to the field. Tyler was crying, begging Dad to just ground him or beat him instead, but Dad wouldn't listen. He tied Tyler's wrists and ankles to the thick wooden post with heavy rope and walked away. What Dad didn't care to check was the local news. The weather station had just issued a severe flash freeze warning. A massive freak blizzard rolled in around 2 a.m. The temperature dropped to below zero in a matter of minutes. The wind was howling so loudly that none of us inside the house could hear Tyler screaming for help. My mom begged my dad to go get him, but Dad stubbornly locked the doors and said, "A little snow will teach him to respect this family. I'm not going out in that." When dawn finally broke and the storm cleared, my dad walked out to the field to teach his final lesson. But Tyler wasn't moving. He had frozen to death hours ago, his tear-stained face covered in frost. The police arrived shortly after. I'll never forget the sight of my father being shoved into the back of a squad car, completely silent, finally realizing his twisted pride had cost his son's life. We were all taken in by our aunt, the farm was sold off, and none of us have celebrated Thanksgiving